Informed, outspoken, wild, fearless. This is the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast. What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast. I am joined by Seth, Jordan, and Phill. We are going to preview Week 3, make our picks, have our starts, have our sits, have some football fun, I guess you could say. Is that what you would say, Phill?
Sure, yeah. We can call it that, football fun. Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited for this pod. This is our second pod doing it virtually in this season. I feel like hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. Last week it sounded like I was underneath the water and using a snorkel to talk through as a mic. So hopefully we'll get some better audio. Jordan, I will say, we have I will call him one of Seth's good friends and acquaintance of mine and Trent, although he is our friend, who was chirping at us a little bit, Jordan, over the take that I had about a lot of people not watching Colorado State this weekend. Like, he was like, basically said the stats were in your favor, and he was kind of like trying to give us the business, which I don't agree with, but I wanted to hear if you had any closing arguments that you wanted to go over.
How are the stats not in my favor?
What do you mean?
Why would you bring this up again, Phill?
I bring it up mostly because I think that this is the thing. It's a sum of the people watched at the time. The numbers fall off an absolute cliff. Like, yes, it was the highest watch, like the third highest watch game ever.
Where does it say sum, Phill? It never says sum anywhere. You assume sum.
Yeah, it's because here's the thing. I'm not, after all these years of the media and all the changes, I can't just believe word for word everything I see online, Jordan. That's something that I think you need. As you grow older and mature, you will be able to read through that.
You are the media, assuming things. That's what the media does. They assume things that aren't there. Phill, let me read what the tweet says.
It falls off a cliff.
You asked me a question. Can I give you an answer?
As long as it matches my narrative.
You know, it's pumpkin spice season. I had a pumpkin spice. I was excited to talk about it. Phill goes into an old argument that's going to take 20 more minutes. That's really going to get nowhere, but go right ahead.
You'll feel like shouting at a wall and expecting the wall to talk back. That's Phil's normal interaction.
Okay, well, I do that basically every single week with these three yahoos that I'm talking to right now. Go ahead, Jordan.
Says the game registered 9.3 million viewers and was the 5th most watched college football game on record. It had a peak viewership of 11.1 million. So by your logic, all it did was drop off 2 million from 11 to 9.
Yeah. People probably DVR'd it. That's what it's counting.
It doesn't matter. People watched it. No one DVR'd it. Yes. No one DVR'd that.
You would be shocked how many Sunday. It's
NFL Sunday the next day. No one's watching Colorado State.
No, they are. The numbers. You just said it. 9 million people watched
Not
it.
on DVR. Not on DVR.
All right, Trent,
let's hear about your pumpkin spice latte.
Pull that up. You know what I mean? Figure it out, like all that stuff, all that jazz. But yeah, I was not ready to go there with that, Phill. Like, I had PSL. I was all excited to talk about it. And Phill goes back into an old argument that like really is nothing. Like, I don't want to text about it anymore. I'm convinced, Phil's convinced, Jordan's convinced, Seth's convinced, but Phill wants to bring it up because I don't know why. I really don't know why. I do think it is one of those things. Yeah. I do think it is one of those things where like half the people think we're right and the other half think Jordan's right, Phill. Like, because I was getting tagged in both things. But
so let me hear
Week 3, and I don't want to talk about college football anymore.
Let me hear about your pumpkin spice. I saw you sent a photo to us, and I was like, without any context, so I didn't know if someone had your phone and took a photo because my kids have done that before. So
it was me. It was me. It was good. I also had an In-N-Out burger. I did the Flying Dutchman grilled onion wrap. You guys should try that. It's really good. If you like grilled onions, I would recommend.
No bread.
Grilled onion wrapped. Yeah, really good. But it's week 3 and we need to get into some football. Okay, go check this thing out.
Hold on, Seth hasn't got to say much. Seth, would you like to? I saw you, Seth, today while both of our families were doing a walk. You had some ice cream, it looked like.
Yeah, so I was walking and then Trent sent that picture of his pumpkin spice latte and it made me puke my water in my mouth because I'm like, I can't stand a man who drinks a pumpkin spice latte. It's like you couldn't get any less manly. It's kind of sad, actually. So I decided to go over there to make fun of him, and he's with his kids, and so I couldn't make fun of him in front of his kids because then I'd make Trent look like more of an idiot than he is, you know. So
You
Seth,
could
you're
do
bringing
it.
his
banana.
kids are cute, you know. So
Yeah.
like
You couldn't
be
do a
mean.
worse job.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I saw Trent like 5 minutes before. He doesn't know that I saw him.
Were you at the gym?
That's creepy.
Out, and I was like, "Oh, Trent must be going to Fugazi's or something. Go eat dinner." And 5 minutes later, I get a picture of, I didn't know what it was. I was just, why is Trent sending me this? But yeah, it was a pumpkin spice latte. So
Yeah.
I thought you were going for a nice dinner, Trent, and you wouldn't got a early drink.
I wish, but my wife was getting her haircut and my daughter was getting her haircut. So I was kind of on babysitting duty. And then we had to go from there to take my wife's car to the shop in Hanford. And that's how I went from pumpkin spice In-N-Out burger all in a matter of 2 hours. So what a thrill. What a time to be alive.
That sounds like a stomach ache. That sounds like a pumpkin spice latte followed by a grilled onion burger.
Yeah, no, and it's not even a grilled onion burger. It's a Flying Dutchman. Like Trent got a 4-layered burger.
Oh, Trent,
go check it out.
He probably dipped
what
it
is
in his
the-
latte, and he's like, "Oh,
No, ketchup.
nasty."
I'll post a pic. I'll post a
PSB
pic.
pumpkin spice burger.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will post a pic, guys. Remember to check us out on YouTube at TFF Dudes. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Really helps us out. We got this whole show on YouTube. Looks really good. We got some really good feedback on last week's show. So please just keep supporting us on YouTube, giving us a thumbs up. If you have a comment, leave a comment. We'll get back to your question. If you have a question, we will answer it there. And remember, whether you love the people in your life or you hate them, you should tell them about the dudes. We bring people together. The greatest compliment you can give your dudes is to share us with a friend. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Let's dive in. Actually, before we dive into week 3, I did the crazy waiver wire show. Remember I did that?
Yep, we remember.
I said I was going to do that. So I will bring that up. I had a crazy waiver, craziest waiver of the week. Most guys were doing Ford was the hot ticket. And guys, when I post this on Twitter, it doesn't mean show me how much Ford went in your league. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of leagues, he went for 100% fab.
Yeah.
That was not uncommon. So it's like, I had guys saying like, hey, I spent this much fab, I should win. It's like, no, you and every other guy in here did the same thing. I'm giving this to @Zek_Popovich. A guy in his league got DeAndre Swift for 100 fab, full fab. And I'm just saying this is the craziest fab because DeAndre Swift should not be on your waiver wire.
Well,
right?
can I talk about that league a little bit? Do you know the background? Seth may be in that league, actually. Can I talk about that league?
I'd rather you not
Phill,
throw Seth under the bus and make his league look dumb, but yeah, go right ahead.
You're also like not supposed to like say that like, you know, we don't want to get like nepotism when we give out awards, you know. We're not supposed to know the guy who we're giving the awards to.
I don't care who it is. I want people to expose the stupid people in their league. That's my goal of this, okay?
So can I No,
Yeah,
can I
stupid,
expose?
it's
So this
stupid.
is what the
DeAndre
rumor
Swift
that
is a
I
free
heard.
agent.
Yeah.
This is the rumor that I heard, not from Seth. I heard it from a different person who I am friends with, whose friend Seth. So the person who had Swift, and I don't even know if this is the person who had Swift did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing in the first week. He drafted him like in the draft. Swift did absolutely nothing in week 1. He dropped him going into week 2, and that's why he was like putting a bunch of fab together to try and get him. Is that accurate, Seth?
Obviously not a listener of the show.
So yeah, we had 11 people in this league, and we need a 12th person, and so we decided. So this league is actually a serious league, and it's sad because it kind of like exposes our integrity of the league because this is very serious. Like we all put in significant like buy-in for this league, so everyone cares. And the guy we added back actually was a previous player in this league before I was in it. And at the time, they didn't take it as serious. But now this is a couple of years later. We added him back because he's actually a person willing to do a punishment if he gets last. And he's actually in first place, which is kind of funny. But he dropped Swift after his week 1 performance on Wednesday, I think, before the game. And so I was like, oh, man, I got to put in a waiver wire. And, of course, it didn't go through at all through, like, the next days. It resetted till Wednesday, which was, I guess, this morning.
They got to be a free agent for 24 hours.
Yeah, and when he dropped him, everyone was like, you idiot, what are you doing? You know, like, we're just like, why would you do that? And basically everyone's, like, joking, like, I'm going to spend $1. And everyone's like, I'm going to spend 100. And I was like, okay, I put in 60 because I'm like, I'm not putting 100 down for this guy because what if Gainwell just plays the rest of the year? Who knows, you know? So I put in 60. Two guys put in 100, and one of them won. So
that's I just think that's a great story.
So the let me just say this: the integrity of the league is
Tarnished.
if there's 12 people, 11 out of 12 have a great fantasy football knowledge where they would not drop DeAndre Swift. It just happened to be the new guy who hasn't played in a couple years, did not
Just
know
takes
who
one
DeAndre
bad
Swift
egg.
was. Yeah.
So
That is,
Trent.
Prayers up for that guy.
yeah, Jordan.
Is it crazier that I got Jerome Ford for a third of my fab in one league? Like, is that crazier than the 100% fab?
I feel like that's the lowest I've seen was in your league that you got him for what, 30 fab?
Well, it was 33%. It's a 150 max, and I got him for 50.
Okay.
So but it's still a third of my fab. So if you do it like, if it's $100 fab league, it'd be the equivalent of $33.
33, yeah.
So like I think that honestly, that league is Monday night waivers. So people have less time to process, and there's not as much content going out about you because everyone looks at waiver content on Tuesdays. Well,
yeah, and that's probably why you got it so cheap.
And I know who Ford is. Like, I've been on Ford. Like, I like Ford. Like, he went to Cincinnati. He was great at Cincinnati. So, yeah.
Let's clap it up for Jordan on that. Let's clap it up.
Yeah. Well, the trouble is even like if I spent 100 on Swift, I still wouldn't have gotten him because the guy that got him was ranked lower than me in the league. We were both 1-1, but he was lower. I guess I could have went all in on Ford, but I don't know if I was ready to spend 90 like the other guy did. So.
All right. Well, hey, let's get on to our week. Jordan, let's get into week 3. Jordan, you have the totals here. So we have our week 3 preview, starts and sits. Go check that out, guys. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. How did we do last week, Jordan, on our picks on the win totals?
Okay, so Trent, I went 8-8. Seth and Phill both went 10-6. And Trent went 11-5. So Trent is our back-to-back winner. He's off to a quick 2-0 lead start on all of us.
Okay.
So
thank you,
Trent, we're not keeping track of totals this year.
I thought it'd just be better if we just did week by week. Then you're because I feel like right now I'm pretty easy to win right now if we do it the same way, right?
No, well, I'm gonna do the totals anyways and just see what that looks like. If they match the same winner, not the same winner.
Yeah.
Just to see.
Absolutely. So, Phill, what do we got?
Going forward, Trent? Should we do a tiebreaker? Because there's going to be weeks where people tie with the same amount of.
Should we do Monday Night Football scores the tiebreaker?
Total points. Should do total points in the game.
Yeah, that's
Let's
fine.
Do that.
Cool. Okay, cool. Start us off here, Philly the Kid.
Philly the Kid. All right, we're going to Thursday night football. We have a Thursday night football. We have the 1-1 Giants versus the 2-0 49ers. Right now, the current line is 44.5. San Francisco is currently favored by 10. No starts or sits in this game. I think some people were kind of like not high on Breda, but weren't low on him either. Saquon Barkley is out. But we don't have any, like I said, we don't have starts and sits in this game. Like, what do you got? You guys have anything you want to talk about? Go over running back situation. Like I said, anything else that you guys are thinking about here?
I'm not excited about Daniel Jones in this matchup. I would say Darren Waller maybe is a guy you like. Who do you want to play on the Giants side of the ball, Jordan?
I think Darren Waller. I still don't trust. I know Hyatt had a couple big catches last week. I still don't trust those receivers yet. And then
he's getting a lot of targets, but he's not getting a lot of routes. Is what
basically he's not playing a lot, but he's getting the ball when he's in there, Mm-hmm. I guess Breida, but I don't love it. But I also didn't love Kyron last week either. But man, I guess Breida's fine. I think Breida is honestly someone I need to look more into. I don't have any Breida shares in season long, but like when I start looking at the DFS slate, the showdown slate tomorrow, like I think, and like props wise, like I think like the props and the showdown, like I'll be honest, I don't think I've dug into Breida because Saquon just got announced out today, and I had a crazy day, and so I didn't really get a chance to look too much into him. So like I'm like TBD on Breida, like what to do with Breida. I know that doesn't really help, but it's just the honest truth. So
I think Daniel Jones is going to run a lot.
yeah, I don't mind the Jones. Like his prop, I think is like 37.5 rushing yards.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like
one
he just
I've
takes
been
off.
taking some of those. Yeah.
And like the design runs, like I know Seth, we were texting about. You were like asking like who you should start. Was it Baker?
Yeah,
And who
I'm in a
else?
bad spot. I have so I waited to take a QB in this league, and Daniel Jones was the QB I took. And I know there were some weeks I needed to avoid. Like Daniel Jones last week won me my matchup, which was great. You know, he scored 31 points, but this week he's playing potentially the best defense in the league in the 49ers. And so I either have to pick between him, Watson, and Mayfield. And I'm like, and those are all like Watson kind of sucks. Mayfield's also playing the Eagles. But it's, you know, like who knows? Maybe the Eagles are exploitable by the pass. They were in the first two games.
They are. I question that game's in Philly, right? Like I question Baker. Like I feel like we might, and we can get to that game later. But like I just think the moral of the story is like I think you take Jones because I think he has the most rushing upside in this matchup. He's gonna take off. You just hope that he doesn't get sacked, right? Like you just hope that he runs.
I'm just hoping if he has 100 yards and like a rushing touchdown, then my life is made. It's not going to happen, but that'd be great.
I mean, you also told me, yeah. I
also told you I was scared.
Well, I think you could get like the 50 yards and a possible like touchdown, but like even if you get the 50 yards rushing, that's 5 points. You get 200 yards passing, that's another 8 points. Now you're at 13, and you hope he gets like either some type of touchdown, and you're at 18.
Yeah.
17, 18, and you're okay there. You live with that, you know?
Yeah. And I guess Baker Mayfield could have like you said, the blow up game, and that's the game you don't want to have him.
Yeah.
It won't be this week though, I don't think.
I have a question.
We can get there.
Trent.
We can get there for
what do you got, Jordan?
So my biggest question in this game is like obviously you're playing CMC. Ayuk injury is a big deal. I think Debo gets a big bump. You're probably playing Debo anyways, and Kittle gets a big bump. You're playing those guys either way. And I'm not really talking season long. I'm talking like prop wise because I'm gonna get a play out for the people on this game on probably Underdogs. I haven't gave Underdog much love lately. But two props for you guys. Do we think that they get Elijah Mitchell involved? Because Shanahan talked about Elijah Mitchell and his rushing props at like 27.5, 28.5. And then my other question is, I think Debo, if Ayuk's out, Debo over 4.5 receptions is probably a lock. Like, what do you guys think about those two props?
The Elijah Mitchell, I'm
like thinking the under. Like, do we think that they get
the under?
Like, I'm saying the under because I'm not a big under guy, but like he made those comments and the rushing. Elijah Mitchell played 0 snaps last week. 28.5 yards is a lot for someone who played 0 snaps last week. I feel like that prop is just a reaction to the coach speak and the spread. And like, if they get up, do they just give Elijah Mitchell the ball? But Elijah Mitchell has like 0 yards the whole season, like in 2 weeks. So I don't know. Like I'm questioning, like, I guess I could pull up what he did in week 1 where they were killing the Steelers. That would, I'm going to pull that up and you guys kind of tell me what you think on those props.
Well, what I'm thinking is I kind of want to wait a little bit longer on this, Jordan, because do you think people are going to smash the over, or do you think you need to go earlier to get the under? It's possible it gets up to 30, right?
I just don't know what people are thinking. I saw that number and I was like, one, why is there even a prop for Elijah Mitchell? The guy didn't play in the whole game yesterday. It has to be because of what Shanahan said, how it's unintentional. I didn't mean to not play him at all. We got to get him more involved. But he had 5 carries for 10 yards in the game they won 37 against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They were killing Pittsburgh and he still didn't play. Yeah, it's weird. I think from what I've seen is people are trying to justify it, say the game was closer, right? So they kept McCaffrey in, and that makes sense. Like, you're going to keep your best player in the backfield when a game's close. But they played Pittsburgh and killed Pittsburgh. You'd think Mitchell would be playing the whole fourth quarter.
No, I agree. And he played.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying smash the under. Like that's my reaction.
When did Ayuk go out though?
15%.
When did Ayuk go out though?
He
On
didn't really
Sunday,
leave
he
the
got
game.
hurt.
He left the game and then came back, and now he's questionable.
Yeah.
So
Mine,
you don't think
my
that's
initial
I don't
thought-
think he's gonna play.
But that's what you don't think that they'll utilize even CMC a little bit more in the passing game, just a little bit to bump it,
I
and
think
then maybe
Debo's
lean
gonna be
on.
a good player in this game too.
But you
I
don't think
Debo's
that'll
gonna be
help Elijah
featured.
Mitchell a little bit, getting the ball a little bit more?
Why?
I don't know.
Just utilizing CMC a little bit more passing wise.
It doesn't mean they're going to line up him in the slot. Like I don't think they're going to play. They haven't really shown a tendency to like play both those guys together.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I don't know. I just
uh,
couple underdog props like that. I just want to look at. I just want to get your opinion. Cue the underdog promo, Trent.
Underdog is the dude's favorite place to play best ball, guys. Go over to Underdog. Tell them the dude sent you. Promo code DUDES, and they will match you up to $100. The best thing about fantasy football is the drafts, guys. So if you want to draft, go over to Underdog. Tell them the dude sent you into promo code DUDES. We're actually going to do a draft for week 3 at the end of the show. Stay tuned for our draft. You just get a couple buddies, play for as little as $3, and, have some fun. So go over to Underdog. Tell them we sent you, guys. What do we got? We want to pick who's going to win this game, who's going to lose this game. What are you guys thinking?
I got Niners.
I'm going
Niners.
Niners.
Niner gang, bang, bang. All right, what do we got next here, Phill?
All right, next game we have the Colts, 1-1 Colts, being led by Gardner Minshew against the 2-0 Ravens. Baltimore is currently favored by 8. The line is 45. Seth has a sit in this game. Seth, you want to start with your sit, and then we can talk about it a little bit more.
Is Minshew for sure playing? We don't have Richardson.
We actually don't. We actually don't.
We
know
actually
that.
don't know. But what I did know is Richardson did not practice. I don't know if they practice on Mondays, but I know they didn't. He didn't practice yesterday on Tuesday. He didn't practice today, which is Wednesday. So he's up in the air. He's questionable. I think it's safe to assume like Minshew's going to be the guy until they announce Richardson. That's usually how it kind of. Like if he's not practicing, he hasn't cleared concussion protocol, he can't practice. So I'm just going to assume Minshew's playing, or Minshew's going to be the play here. And I was looking, Trent gave me his PFF login, so I've been doing more research into that. It's actually found that Pittman kind of has like a less, like, because he's the slot. If I'm looking at this right, he is the slot receiver there, and he's been running more of those short underneath routes, and Richardson likes to throw those like 5 to 10 yard routes. And then I went back and watched Minshew play last week after Richardson came out, and Minshew was actually throwing the more outside routes, outside the numbers, outside the hashes. He was waiting for plays to develop longer and making those throws. So I think he's actually not going to be throwing the ball to Pittman as much as we think. So I think it could be like a Josh Downs game. I don't think Minshew's going to throw the ball to Pittman that much. So I'm just going to say sit Pittman. If Richardson plays, I think Pittman is totally fine to play. But since Richardson's up in the air and Minshew is the go-to guy that we're just going to assume, I think Pittman's going to be out if Richardson's out.
And a lot of times those backup wide receivers tend to not backup. The number 2 wide receiver, number 3 wide receiver seems to have a better repertoire with the backup quarterback. Is kind of how it's been a lot of times is what I've seen in past games. Those are kind of the guys they run routes with, is like that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 is kind of things I've heard.
Pittman's not the slot receiver. I'm sorry.
Downs is the slot receiver.
Yeah,
Downs is a slot receiver. Yeah. So I said the wrong one. So actually, that actually favors the slot receiver. The matchup favors the slot receiver in this one. But I still think Minshew did make his big pass play was to I think he had 2 big plays to tight ends last week, which is interesting.
All right. Forgot to put your graphic on there, Seth. Sorry about that. Seth sit of the week. I'm a little rusty.
Sorry, you
here.
can put it up now.
Yeah, I put it up. We have good graphics.
Okay.
Go check these out on YouTube, guys. Give us the thumbs up, like I said. And anything else you guys want to say in this?
Joe Mixon.
The graphics are going to get way better, just so you know.
Okay. No one really had a good game on Cincinnati last week. But what do you guys think about? And we can move on after we bring this up here. But what are we thinking about just in terms of Zach Moss this week on the Colts?
Just was going to bring that up, Phill.
Great minds. Great minds.
Yeah, I literally was like, I got to bring this up. he played every snap last week, like every single snap last week. And but the matchup sucks. It's a really hard
It's a rough
matchup. For him.
matchup.
So I don't know what the answer is, if I'm being honest. Like, you probably spend some fab on him, and if you need to use him, I think you can play him. It's a really hard matchup, but he played so much that maybe he just gets there volume wise. He played every single snap. That's what we want, right? Like, we want those every down backs. So,
And if Richardson's
I don't know,
not playing, if Richardson's not playing, like the rushing is going to Moss.
And also the goal line.
Yes,
goal line. He has more carries. Upside at the red zone or the goal line because there's no Richardson there.
And we don't know. I don't know when these happen, but he was targeted 4 times. All passes might have been from Minshew. I don't know how many times, but at least
it doesn't really matter because he played
4 targets
every snap. So yeah.
But that's what. Yes, you're right. I'm just saying Minshew may have targeted him more with the throwing to him a little bit too. That's all I was saying there. All right, we can move on here. Do we want to go into
real quick? One more note.
Go ahead.
I think we get a big Zay Flowers game. Big Zay Flowers game here. The Texans tore up that Indianapolis secondary last week.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's. Do you want to go, Trent? Did you have something to add there?
No. I have something to add after we do this. I'm going to say Ravens win. Anyone going to go against the Ravens?
Ravens.
I got Baltimore.
No, sir.
Alrighty, today's preview is brought to you by Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack is the best place to get your fantasy football trophies, last place punishments, participation ribbons, anything fantasy football needs. You can customize it, make it exactly how you want. We have a custom belt for our Dynasty League, the Dino Dudes, which is over there to my left, and I don't know why I'm pointing at it because you can't see it, but go to trophysmack.com/dudes. It really helps us out, guys. Not only does it help us out, you get 15% off your whole entire order. Go to Trophy Smack. It's not too late to bring your league up to the next level. Phill, what is our next matchup here, my man?
This is a spicy matchup. This is get out of my life, Trent. This is a spicy matchup here. I am let's give ourselves a round of applause. This is our second week.
No,
I think we're grinding right now.
No more rounds of applause.
This is a fantasy matchup that I think is getting Jordan. Jordan's gonna be eating Jordan's gonna be eating smoked salmon, enjoying this game. Like, I think this is a game that Jordan is like very excited to have like a smoked salmon sandwich with. I don't know. Get excited, Jordan. Let me see your excitement here, buddy. We have the 2-0 Falcons at the 1-1 Lions. The current line is 46.5. Detroit is currently favored by 3.5.
I think you skipped a game, Phill. You skipped a game.
Oh, I need to take away that clap for ourselves. Well, I mean, they're all 10 a.m. games. I mean, to be quite honest,
I was going to say that game does not get me very excited, Phill. Like, I thought you were going to a different game here.
Here's the thing, though. They're all 10
a.m. That game does not get Jordan's chili hot.
This is the thing, though. They're all 10 a.m. games. It's very easy to kind of go back and forth. We didn't have any starts and sits in the other one. I was sensing a lull in our kind of like our excitement, so I wanted to get into an exciting
I'm just more
game.
surprised that Trent made the guy who can't read the host.
Hey, equal opportunity, man. All right.
Do you want to go? We did have a sit in that game. Do you want me to go back, or should we? I feel like we're already too far into it.
Now it's too far the other way, so just go in order.
Go in order now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Phill, it's usually the second one on the list. Right above the first.
The third, you mean? So we'll go into this game. This is a boring game. We can go through it quickly. Jordan has a sit. 1-1 Titans, 1-1 Browns. The line total is 39.5. Cleveland is currently favored by 3. Jordan, you have a sit in this game. Very on brand for you.
So, yeah. Hold on, right here. Everyone, Trent, can you give me the screen here? Can you give me that?
You have the stage.
Oh, man, we got a little bit of a glare right here. Derrick Henry right here. This dude right here. He is my sit of the week here.
Bringing in props.
So, bringing in props, you know. Here's the thing. He's a 3-point dog. Is he still a 3-point dog? I missed that. He was a 3-point dog when I looked earlier. But on the road, 3-point underdog.
Yep.
Biggest stand of the week for me is not only do I think Derrick Henry just sit, like I think people are going to start him because he is not going to be a top 20 running back this week. He will be outside the top 20. this Browns defense is an elite run defense. They're a top 3, 4, 5 defense in the league, probably. They're elite. They've given up only 130 rushing yards this year to running backs. And here's the reality. Derrick Henry snapped spike last week compared to week 1. But if the Titans are struggling and they can't run the ball, you know who's coming in? Tyjae Spears. Like, those snaps are going right back to the 50-50 split they were in week 1. Spears is going to be the passing down running back. I know Henry's getting targets. I think that might be just a factor of them struggling to run the ball anyways. So even when he's in the game, they're having to use him in the passing game. But he's not playing third down. Spears is playing third downs. And I just think that this is a team who they just want to run the ball, and they can't really. And they're definitely not going to be able to run the ball against this Browns defense. The Browns defense has given up 0 rushing touchdowns. I know we're only 2 weeks through, but they bottled up Najee Harris last week. The Steelers had to use Jaylen Warren in the passing game, and they bottled up Mixon. I think Mixon had like 50 yards rushing in week 1. This is a really good defense, and it's a really good run defense. And I think Derrick Henry is not a top 20 running back this week.
You heard it here, folks.
Bold.
No, Jordan, I
agree.
Jordan, I'm excited about Spears here. I've been playing him in a dynasty league that's kind of in a rebuild, and he's been doing pretty solid. He did okay for me last year. I won my week, and Spears was an okay fill-in. And if I'm excited with the snap percentages he's been getting this early in his career for where you got him in rookie drafts. I forgot this though, Phil. I didn't fill out the notes properly. I also have a start in this game. Okay. So I have Amari Cooper as my start of the week.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
We almost skipped 2 starts, right? So Amari Cooper, I think the Browns are where is Tennessee good at on defense? They're pretty good against the run, right?
Yeah, that's definitely their better part.
That's their. I wouldn't say they're good against the run, but they're horrible against the pass. Deshaun Watson has to start throwing the ball good. Maybe he doesn't do it this week. He needs that get right game though. He's the highest paid player in the NFL. Like, he needs to bounce back here. So Deshaun Watson gets it going with Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper has a good game here, and I think you can feel really confident playing Amari Cooper against the Titans. This game seems kind of interesting, and maybe it's not at all. Like, the line's not crazy. I think Browns win this game. The Titans are really hard to get a read on.
I'm gonna go Browns too.
I'm going.
I got Browns, and I like the Amari Cooper play. Trent, he looked pretty good last week on it, even coming off that groin or whatever it was. He looked pretty good, and Watson was getting him the ball. Watson's not good, but he's getting him Cooper the ball. So, and Njoku too. I think Njoku you can use too. Tight end's always rough. I think Njoku's fine.
Do you think we maybe see Watson run a little bit more now that Chubb's gone? Do you think maybe he tries to take over a little bit more? Or he used to be a decent runner. He has a rushing touchdown on the season.
Yeah. I guess we didn't really state the obvious, Trent, that you're playing Jerome Ford. I guess we should have mentioned that. I don't know if people are questioning that now after Kareem Hunt. I mean, the comments from their head coach is Stefanski their head coach. That's the head coach, right?
Yeah.
He made the comments after that. Jerome Ford's a feature back. We're going to add somebody. My guess is he knew that somebody was going to be Kareem Hunt. So, but he said that knowing that they're going to add Kareem Hunt. I think Jerome Ford's the guy. They didn't want Kareem Hunt. They let Kareem Hunt go. I think because of Jerome Ford, and Kareem Hunt was not good last year. You can look at the numbers. But so I think you're starting Jerome Ford. And so I don't know. I haven't looked at the props yet. I don't think there's any props yet on Jerome Ford. I'd like to see what those numbers come in at. But
all right. I think we're going Browns all the way.
Yeah. Browns all the way. Yep. Cool. All right. Can we move on to the game that I was hyping up a little bit more?
Yeah, hype it up.
Yeah, that I'm not excited about either. I don't know why you thought I'd be excited about
Hype dog.
You're not excited about this one, Jordan? I feel like you would be excited about this one.
Detroit. Atlanta doesn't do anything. They run the ball every single play.
They have the fourth highest total of the week.
Yeah, I mean,
fourth?
That tells you how much 46, not very, still not high, but yeah.
I mean, you don't think fourth is high, Seth?
It's a 46.
No, I want something more than 50. I want something 50 plus.
I mean, there's only one game that's 50
There's
plus.
one game that I'm in love with this week, and it's the obvious game. So,
all right, I'll let it slide. I think this one is actually probably going to go the over, but I'm going to go Falcons 2-0, Lions 1-1, 46.5. Detroit is currently favored by 3.5. Jordan, you have a start. I'll let you. Excuse me, Trent, you have a start. My apologies.
It's okay. We're getting better here, right? So I'll throw this.
Trying to get used to it.
He
I
forgot
have
his dyslexia glasses.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. I think Jahmyr Gibbs gets unleashed here finally this week. I think it's happening a little faster maybe than Gamble wanted it to happen. But I like them. I think that whether it's catching passes or whatever, I'm really excited about Jahmyr Gibbs this week. I said Gibson, but Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's really talented. He's looked good in the little spurts he's gotten. He led the Lions in targets last week. Fun fact. I'm not saying he caught them all, but he had 9 targets. So I think Gibbs has a really good game against Atlanta this week. Other side of the ball, I also think Bijan's going to smash also. I think Bijan can have a really good game. I think this is I know Jordan's not excited about it. I'm excited to watch both running backs in this game.
I'm excited to watch this game. I think that has the potential of going much higher. It's 4th highest on there, and these two yahoos over here don't think this is going to be a good game. I think they're out. I think they're out of their minds. I think this will end up being a good one. Jordan, it sounds like you have something to say now. I'll let you go ahead.
Well, one, you're also like basically a Lions truther, so like of course you're gonna think the Lions game is interesting. Trent,
he couldn't cheer for the Lions last week, so he's back.
I'm back.
My only question on Gibbs is they have Craig Reynolds there. They signed Zonovan Knight. Are you at all worried about the role?
I'm more worried about Reynolds than Zonovan Knight, but I think that it's going to have to be like maybe he doesn't get every snap. I think they're going to. I think he's that much better. It's going to be obvious that they have to give him the ball.
He got 50% snaps last week, and maybe that's enough for him. He's so electric that maybe the 50% snaps is enough.
When did Montgomery get hurt?
3rd quarter, I think.
Okay. Craig Reynolds did play quite a bit.
Trent, he played 15% snaps, I think. It's going to trend, Trent. It was trending. That game was trending towards another 65-35, 60-40 split with Montgomery Gibbs. So I think you got up to the 50-50 because Montgomery got hurt. I like Gibbs. I just worry, like, in some ways, this isn't the best game for him to be unleashed because you need the passing upside, and I just don't know what this game's going to turn out like. Like, I don't know how good Atlanta is. They run the ball. They're slow. I do agree, like, it's a Bijan smash, though, 100%. I think I have that. I think I have in my notes. Algier got less snaps last week, and it's a big Bijan week. I like Bijan a lot this week. I want to look at his prop number, too, at some point.
I'm going to lean in here a little bit more. Last season, the combined scoring went over the point total 10 times in Detroit games last year.
It's because it's in a dome. Yeah, I know. You're not wrong 100% with the logic, Phill.
That's what I'm saying.
The counterpoint, though, is Atlanta's so slow, and they run the ball, and they drain the clock. That's the only issue with that. The other thing is we buried the lead. Amon St. Brown hasn't practiced all week. So he missed practice both days. And I don't know what I think it's a toe injury or something. So I'm assuming he plays.
Josh Reynolds.
But if he doesn't play, Josh Reynolds, would be probably a pretty good value on some stuff. And and as Laporta,
I think he's going to play, but we'll see.
Too. I think he does too, but we just don't know.
And guys,
it's a good matchup for him too.
Yeah, guys, I announced this on the waiver wire pod, and it's relevant right here. But I'm going to deep lengths now to make this happen. But we now, if you go to the fantasyfootballdudes.com, we now have what's it here? Say right here, feed Kyle Pitts shirt. So I don't know. Maybe I need to send one to Desmond Ritter. We'll see how that is. That's on the YouTube right there. But on sale right now for $22. Go check that out. Yeah.
All right. I think
it's a decent matchup for London or Pitts. I think one of them will have a good game. I don't know which one it will be though.
I say I'm going Lions.
I'm gonna say
Lions. I got Detroit.
Yeah, Lions.
And Seth, you went Atlanta?
Lions.
Sorry, Lions. Trent. What did you Lions?
Lions.
Yeah, we all went Detroit.
Okay, moving on here. We are moving on to the 2-0 Saints versus the 1-1. What in the? The 2-0 Saints versus the 1-1 Packers. The current total right now is 42.5. Green Bay is currently favored by 2. Jordan, you have a sit in this game.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, so I got Michael Thomas as a sit here. It's lower total. They're on the road. In Green Bay, it's not Lambeau's can be crazy at times, not the best place to play. And it's probably the best. So I know Michael Thomas has had 2 good weeks. I think he has like 12 catches, like 9 and 11, 7, like almost double-digit targets each week. But it's the best passing defense Saints have probably played. They played the Titans passing defense, we've kind of talked about not being very good. And they played the Panthers passing defense, who honestly isn't very good either. It's a better passing defense. And also, I think Green Bay sits at like, yeah, they're like a mid-pack pass defense. But the Titans and I think the Panthers are way down there. And then here's my thing. Michael Thomas, basically at this point, he's not running. Like he probably ran faster in the locker room the other night than he does on the field.
Yeah, when they almost got in that fight.
Yeah, like I'm being dead serious. This is what he has. He has 12 yards after the catch on 12 receptions through 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's just a shell of himself.
It's 5 and 7. Like he's not.
Guys, I
running.
watched a
Like,
lot
he's
of that
catching the
game.
ball.
It was slant boy.
Yeah, but he's not running after the slant. Like he's not taking.
That's what I'm
off
saying.
and
He's
going
catching
anywhere.
the slant, getting tackled. He's not like there's no play
Yes.
after the catch.
Yeah, he has 12 yards after the catch on 12 catches. Like that's pretty impressive, honestly. Like to think about. Like he's literally going down 1 yard after every catch. Like so.
At least he's consistent.
He's getting volume, but there's no explosiveness. There's no explosive plays. So against this Packers defense, I'm leaning towards like I think you can just sit him this week. I think there's gonna be weeks where he's valuable, but it's a low total. There's not gonna be a lot of volume. Best case scenario, he gets you like you're hoping for the touchdown is what you need from him. And watch. Michael Thomas will probably, he got the extra running into the locker room. He probably feels good. Now he's gonna go bust off a 60-yard slant. It's probably what's gonna happen, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it seemed like Carr was kind of locking onto Thomas.
He gave him a ton of targets.
Yeah.
He was feeding him.
But
yeah.
Red zone, though, seemed like he was going to Olave, and they just couldn't connect. Like they were really close on one of them.
No,
he almost had a touchdown. But I don't know. I'm going Saints. I don't know. Like who on the picks? Like, what do you think?
Real quick, Trent. There's one more. We got to talk about what do we? The Jamal Williams probably isn't playing. He's probably out. Condre Miller, Tony Jones Jr. What are you thinking there? I think it's just important. We got to talk about it.
Man,
I have Condre Miller in the league. I think Tony Jones Jr. was a good play and a good waiver wire pickup, but now with Condre, I think it's just it's a wait and see approach.
We've seen this movie before, the Tony Jones deal, and it's never really quite pans out. Like he's a waiver wire guy, and you usually if you have to get him on waivers, you've already missed the opportunity. Like he usually has like a touchdown game, then they don't go back to it. So that's where I'm thinking. I think I lean Miller. He made some nice catches and stuff in preseason, looked pretty good. So I would go with is it Condre?
Condre, yeah. I lean that way too. I was just curious.
Okay. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna say Saints win this game. Anyone going Packers?
I'm gonna go Packers.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Packers too. Cheese.
All righty, moving on here. We have the Texans 0-2 versus Jordan's 1-1 Jaguars. Current total right now is 43.5. The Jags are currently favored by 9.5. No starts, no sits in this game that I can see unless the notes are not updated. I know Jordy tends to love his Jags, but is there anything you guys wanted to go over here?
Smash, what's his name? Smash play. It's late at night. Not Etienne. Who's the receiver? Man, I'm totally blanking.
Ridley.
It's just late. I was just say smash.
Ridley's
a smash play.
There's I think Phill, honestly, like I'm a little biased here, I guess, but like I really like this game. I think this is the low total game that like could be the shootout. Not necessarily shootout, but go over the total just because, one, I think I'm locking the Jaguars in Survivor. I'm going all in on the Jaguars Survivor this week. I don't see the Jaguars losing 2 games in a row. They were pretty pissed off about that game with the Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Yeah, all the it was everything coming out of the locker room was just how upset they were about it. And so I don't see them losing back-to-back games at home against the Texans. So I like them a lot this week in Survivor. But I like this game. I think it's an ETN spot, but I also think it's a Christian Kirk spot. I think it's a Jaguars offense spot. I think I like Christian Kirk the most. I think I read that the Texans run like the Chiefs did last week. So, and Ridley, like you're going to play Ridley, obviously. But I think where I'm different is I like the Houston receivers here. And I don't know really. I think Nico Collins, I want to look at his props a little bit more. And Tank Dell's props is also what I want to look at. But Nico Collins, I think you can play in your season long. And I think they're both guys that I'll probably have some DFS, like ETN, Texans receiver, or like Christian Kirk, Texans receiver, maybe Ridley. Like, I think it's all fine. But I think Stroud, if he plays, is interesting. But Stroud may not play. And if Stroud doesn't play, that takes my interest off the Texans a little bit. But because I don't know, Davis Mills, I don't know, he kind of sucks. So
definitely changes things if we don't get Stroud. Stroud looked pretty good. Tank Dell, I believe he's going to pull away a little bit more each week, I think. And I think Nico's pretty good also there. I've been getting some questions on whether guys should play Hunter Henry or Evan Ingram this week. Jordan, do you like this Evan Ingram spot right here? Hunter Henry is quietly the tight end 2 on the season.
I'm just, Ingram's getting a lot of work. He's getting a lot of targets too from Trevor Lawrence. And he's making plays. Like he had a couple. There was one where he was about 2 yards short, running out of bounds 2 yards short, and jumped and dove for the first down. Like he's making plays. I think Trevor Lawrence really trusts him. So I like Ingram a lot in this matchup. But Hunter Henry, he's getting the work, so he's getting the volume. Just a really hard matchup.
Yeah, I think Lawrence is going to have a really good game.
If I can say something about Evan Ingram, if we're looking at PFF here, it says Ingram has a 19% target share. The guy that would be covering him mostly is, I think, Chris Harris, and he's a linebacker at Houston. He has a low grade in the pass defense at about 42, and Evan Ingram has about a 76. So it gives him a plus 34%, which is up there with TJ Hawkinson's matchup and Travis Kelce at 27%. So this could be a smash spot for Ingram this week.
Yeah, I like it too.
All right, I'm going with Jaguars in this game. Anyone going to go Texans? All righty. What do we got next here, Phil?
Oh my goodness.
Phil, remind me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, keep going. Hey, and guys, also give our guy a fantasy dad. Give him a follow on Twitter. He's been giving us some shout outs on there. He will answer most start sit questions. He does a fantasy dad minute every day. Go check that out on Twitter. It's pretty cool, fun stuff. But thought I'd give him a little shout out here. So go give him a follow. I'm at TFF Dad. All right, what do we got next, Phil?
Yep. So the next game that we have are the 0-2 Broncos versus the 2-0 Dolphins. Current total right now is 48. Miami is currently favored by 6.5 at home. No starts, sits in this game. Anything that we want to talk about here? Waddle was limited. Is Waddle out? Does anyone have any update on Waddle?
Was it concussion? Is that what it was?
Yeah, he has a concussion.
I'm sure the Dolphins will clear him, and he's good. Just kidding.
Honestly, that's a good point, Trent. I don't think they will. After
I know, I was thinking they won't.
Yeah,
he stretched today. All he did was stretch. So he stretched, and that's all he did. He's still in concussion protocol. That's all we know. So it says he paid attention and will likely test out practice later this week if his symptoms allow. So we're in the dark there.
I like how they included that he paid attention.
I think it just means that. So I guess it means he knows that he may not for sure not play,
Yeah.
Paid attention. Yeah.
He had his listening ears on the entire practice. What? It's so stupid.
Yeah, they just really don't want to tell you anything.
Do they have like the report
Yeah.
card, like what they had in like first grade?
Inside voices were used. Yeah, I guess so. Inside voices were used during all huddles. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, I don't want to hear about him paying attention during all of practice. I just want to know if he's playing or not.
Does that mean he doesn't pay attention most days? Like that's something that's worth noting. Like when he doesn't have
It's like what Tyreek Hill said. He just plays them in Madden and figures out how good they are.
Trent, that's such a good point. Like, this is a difference than what he normally does.
Waddle's been kind of a letdown this year. Like where he was getting drafted.
Trent, he was good
round.
last week. He was real good last week.
What do you have? 60
if
yards.
He doesn't, but Trent, if he doesn't get tackled on that one or trip over himself, he has a 40-yard touchdown catch in his.
Yeah.
Like he kind of stumbled a little bit.
He's got some decent targets.
Anyways, like if Waddle's out, I think Braxton Berrios or River Craycraft are interesting for DFS formats. I'd be curious if their props come in at 2. And then Mostert. I think it's a good spot for Tyreek and Tua too. And then Mostert. I like the spot for the Miami at home. On the Broncos side, I think it's just Javonte and Cortland Sutton. I don't really love anything else here.
Does Javonte, you think,
Russ
have a
ain't
decent
gonna cook.
game finally? This could be a good
playing
matchup
about 50%
for
snaps. Yeah, it's a decent matchup. I think you play them and you just have to hope that eventually it's gonna come. You just got to keep playing them.
All right, I'm gonna say Dolphins win this. Anyone going with Broncos?
No Broncos here. All right, let's move on. At what point does Sean Payton start just throwing Russell Wilson under the bus? I think we're about a game away from that happening.
I didn't watch the whole game.
Well, you heard he said, right?
No.
He said that he's gonna have to start like dumbing down the offense or something, like dumbing down the terminology or something. I don't know.
Okay. I thought you were going to say something a lot more shocking than that. Like I was expecting like
that's pretty
like a bombshell.
Phill, if you're a quarterback like Russell Wilson,
I get what you're saying.
You have to dumb down the offense and the terminology.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty insulting to a 10-year, 12-year vet like Russell Wilson.
It's probably a lot less insulting. Go ahead.
Basically, Sean Payton asked if Russell Wilson could put his listening ears on.
Yes. Or we need to start saying that now. Like, now, Trent, I need you to put your listening ears on now.
Phil's listening helmet.
Yes, exactly.
Please do not.
Trent needs to put on his listening ears. You know what, buddy? You've done a good job all day today, Seth, with your listening ears. All right, let's move on here. I think everyone took the Dolphins, right? Everyone take the Broncos.
Fins all the way across.
All right. So moving on here, we have two actually very decent 0-2 teams playing. Okay. And it's going to stink because one of them is going to be 0-3, and I really don't think that their record should look that way. But we have the 0-2 Chargers versus the 0-2 Vikings. The current total is 54, one of the highest totals on the board. Minnesota is currently favored by 0.5 point at home, essentially a wash. Jordan has a start. I think this is a good game to talk about. But Jordan, let's dive into this one. This might be the one that you were all giddy about. So everyone here on this pod has their listening ears and are ready to pay full attention to you.
Yeah, this is definitely the game that I think is the best game of the week. The game that I'm very tempted to just only play quarterbacks from this game in DFS this week. I love this game. My start of the week is Jordan Addison in this game. So highest total on the board, like you said, Phill. The Chargers have given up the most passing yards through the first 2 weeks. Jordan Addison has played 70% snaps last week, so it's increased from week 1 to week 2. And he had 6 and 5 targets last 2 weeks. He had a touchdown each game, and like part of me is like just kind of with this start is like targeting this game. Like targeting this game. We're gonna want to play guys in this game. It's a great game environment, and that applies all the way around. Like it applies to your props. It applies to your DF. Your week league stuff. It applies to your season long everywhere. The underdog draft we're going to do in the end of this pod, like it applies everywhere. And I like Addison. Like he's going to go a little more under the radar. I think like obviously everyone's playing Jefferson. Everyone's playing, we can talk about the running back on the Minnesota side, but like you're playing Eckler or Kelly, you're playing Hawkinson. You're playing Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Like Jordan Addison is a little bit more under the radar, and I think he's going to have a huge week this week. I think he's going to catch his 50-yard bomb. And so I just really like this game. And I think Jordan Addison is probably the most under the radar play in this game. So I think he's my start of the week.
I like it, Jordan. I also forgot to update the notes completely, but I have a sit here. Okay. So my sit of the week, nice little graphic there, a little sit of the week, actually kind of disgusting, but I have
that's how Trent fills out the sheet every time. He's usually on that.
Exactly. So it's a little stinky.
Pumpkin spice burger.
Yeah, post pumpkin spice right there. Go check that out. So I got Alexander Madison as my sit of the week. I made this before the Cam Akers news, but they clearly are not happy with him. And they aren't happy. They're 0-3. I almost, am I looking at this wrong? I don't have this as a sit. I'm sorry. I took this off. So it actually is a pretty good match. Sorry. It's a good matchup for Madison.
It's a good matchup for Madison.
It's a good matchup. Yeah. I had him as a start and I removed him. So my bad, guys.
There you go.
Don't ignore the graphic. And I think, sorry about that. Total
the graphic
right
was for
there.
Trent just eating his foot right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think you can
Stinky
play
foot.
Madison in this game with this matchup?
Well, we need to talk about
Chargers
Akers got added.
I just ran with it. Yeah.
Yeah, Cam Akers is traded there. I just don't know how much Cam Akers plays. It's a pretty solid. It's a pretty solid matchup for Madison. I just think Madison kind of sucks, honestly. Like I'll admit I was wrong. I was kind of high on Madison this year, and I think he would have ended up getting there if they hadn't traded for Cam Akers. Just on volume alone, I think he would have ended up getting there. But I just don't know how good he is, and the fact that they traded for Cam Akers makes you kind of wonder how good they think he is, because they let Dalvin go because they kind of wanted Madison to be in that full-time role. I just wonder if he's a guy who's not capable of succeeding in that full-time role. He was better as like a guy who they bring in and
change of pace, one game film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had Madison as a start. Then sorry guys, had a strange day today, but no excuses. But yeah, this is his last shot. I'm going to say
this is
who do we say wins? Who do we say? Just some stats here about the Chargers. I've been talking about their coaching. Justin Herbert's last 4 games, he has 1,130 passing yards. He's averaging 282 yards per game. He's thrown 7 total TDs, no interceptions, 65 completion percentage. So they just figure things out. And look, Eckler, you think Eckler plays?
I kind of think he doesn't play.
I don't think so either.
So maybe a decent spot for Kelly. You ready to go get hurt again by Kelly?
I think we get a big bounce back Kelly game, honestly. I could see that happening too.
Okay.
Like where it's just, and not huge, but like maybe 80 yards and a touchdown type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go Vikings here.
I have Chargers.
You're going Chargers?
Yeah, I got Chargers here.
Yeah, just looking at this graph.
Is this game in San Diego?
It's in Minnesota.
Sorry, LA. It's in Minnesota. Yeah, not San Diego. Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings because I think it's the home helps.
Yeah, I'm going.
I don't feel great about the Chargers, but
I think this is a. Go ahead, Trent.
The Chargers never play home anyways, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they always have a lot of opposing fans there. But it's in Minnesota. It's in the Dome. It'll be warm. Looking at this picture of Justin Herbert, he just looks like a guy that maybe could go to manscaped.com. He doesn't completely look like a modern man, but the modern man's a man who takes care of himself, guys. Manscaping isn't just for life special occasions. It's a requirement for optimal health, superior hygiene, and healthy self-esteem. You now have the right tools for a safe and precise grooming and hard to navigate sensitive areas plus post-trimming products. Go over to manscaped.com, enter promo code Dudes20, 20% off your whole entire order, guys. Really helps us out. Go check that out. Seth's probably wearing the Boxers 2.0s right now. Unfortunately, I am not. But go over check that out. All kinds of boxers, lawnmowers, weed whackers, everything you need. All right, what do we got here next, Phill?
Yes, we are moving right along here.
You guys didn't even pick a game. You didn't pick.
I said Vikings.
I'm gonna go Vikings. As Seth always says, skull.
I'm glad to still get a game on you guys here.
Skull.
All right, moving on here. We have the 0-2 Patriots versus the 1-1 Jets. The line total right now is currently 37. New England is currently favored by 3. No starts, no sits in this game unless I am missing something. I know we had a note that was off there, so let me take a look at this real quick.
No, I think you're good.
Yeah, I think we're good here. So that's the game.
Can we move
folks.
on this game? Like,
Yeah.
let's make this real simple. Garrett Wilson, Ramondre Stevenson, the Jets backfield's an absolute mess. They're all 33% snaps, all 3 of them. Jets defense is probably one of the best defenses of the week. I'm picking the Jets to win.
Yeah, I didn't even play Hunter Henry. Also, Cowboys had 2 tight ends score on them last week. Not a lot better than you can do than a tight end 2 and maybe a guy who scored a touchdown each game. I'm going.
I'm gonna go Jets.
I'm going Jets as well. It's in New York.
The line seems wrong to me. Like New England favored by 2.5 doesn't make any sense.
I'm going with New England.
Rough game though last week for the Jets, Jordy.
Rough game for New England.
Yeah. Do you see that Sauce Gardner said he's going to start shadowing guys? He's
he probably should after last week, right? He only had Cooper was sorry, not Cooper. Lamb was only on his side like 3 times and didn't get any pat. Like, well, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like that was like you remember when like they did that? I mean, not to be a Seahawks pod, but they used to do that all the time where they would just line up on one side of the field, like follow the best.
I thought
guy,
that was.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
next game,
I
Phill.
always thought that was weird.
You know what? Now I'm just going to lean into this a little bit more. I still believe in Robert Saleh. You see that on this. Still believing in the Jets. We'll see what happens here. All right. Moving on. Bills, the 1-1 Bills versus the 2-0 Commanders. Yes, you heard that correctly. The 2-0 Commanders. Current line total is 44, and the Buffalo Bills are favored by 6.5. Again, nothing here that we have. Not a ton. This is also not one of the higher line totals. Maybe it's like the 6th. But talk to me here, boys. What are we thinking?
I think you just kind of play. Sorry, Trent. Go ahead.
No, I was looking for words to say. I think it's a decent Miles Sanders spot. Decent.
Miles Sanders doesn't play on either of these teams, Trent.
Sorry, I'm looking at the Panthers Seahawks over the place.
He's looking up the words are what did you say? You're looking up for
Let me talk. Okay.
James
Trent,
Cook.
you can't use the same excuse every single week with the time. Like
10:03 is not that late.
I've been up since 3 a.m.
Well, that's about
he had cramps, guys.
So.
He had cramps.
Cramps.
Is that really
right
it?
Now.
Hey, it's James Cook,
Cramping my style.
Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. You could mix in Gabe Davis if you want. If Dawson Knox misses, he missed practice today, it would be a huge Dalton Kincaid spot. I love him in this spot. On the Washington side, I think the Buffalo secondary is not that great. I think Dotson, McLaurin are pretty good plays here. Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, I think they're a little bit less of. I think you can start them both if you need to. But I think they're a little bit less as good starts as McLaurin, Dotson. But I think it's kind of like a pretty basic, just start your guys' game in this game.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kincaid, Trent, you are pretty close, neck and neck. Dalton Kincaid has 6 points week 1, 6.6 points week 1, 9.3 points week 2. Kincaid has 2.4 points week 1 and 7.4 points week 2. I know we're not really doing egg bets, but we did have like a little bit of a gentleman's bet on who's going to have more fantasy points.
Mm-hmm. All right, so they're neck and neck. I'm gonna say Bills. I'm gonna say Bills win this game.
Buffalo.
Am I gonna go Commanders? Jordan.
I got Buffalo.
Yeah, you got it.
Phill.
Yeah, Buffalo. All right, moving into the afternoon slate here, we have the 0-2 Panthers versus the 1-1 Seahawks. Hawks, baby. The current total right now is 42, and the Seahawks are favored at home by 5.5. No starts or sits in this game, but I think this one could be. I think the Seahawks go off in this game. I think this is a go off game for the Seahawks coming off a big win against Detroit. Seth, you have any thoughts on your birds here? Seabirds?
I think all three receivers can have a pretty good game this week.
They're gonna eat. They're gonna eat.
Yeah, I think DK has the highest rated. If with his matchup, I think DK is gonna have a good week. I mean, Lockett, I think it'll be more of a DK week than where it was Lockett last week. I think JSN is fine. I think as the season goes on, kind of like what Trent said a couple weeks ago, like he's just going to keep getting better. His points are going to keep getting higher. He's going to get more targets. I think this could be one of the weeks where maybe we see the breakout performance just because the matchup maybe favors him a little bit more. Miles Sanders is going to be a good play, I think, in this one. The Seahawks run defense isn't that good. And I think the Panthers are going to be able to run the ball, at least for a little bit, on the Seahawks.
And Kenneth Walker, you have any thoughts on your boy?
I think Kenneth Walker's fine here, too. So I think all Seahawks players are fire him up.
Phill, this was a story that kind of reminded me. You see that guy on the Panthers who caught his first touchdown pass, and he took the
that was so good.
What is it? Is it not maternity, like baby pictures with the football?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
And he said
Tyler
he was
Granson.
it took 3 years, but it's finally here, and he's holding wrapped in a swaddling cloth.
Yeah. No, it was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Kenneth Walker right now is 5, half a touchdown on the over there. I'm trying to look to see if we have any other Seahawks. Just it's always fun to look at the Hawks here. Jordan, you have anything on the Hawks you want to add there?
I like Kenneth Walker a lot this week. I think it's the Panthers are a lot more susceptible on the ground than they are the pass. So they've actually been pretty decent in the pass game. Also, it's a product of who they played too. So they played the Falcons and they played the Saints. Falcons just don't throw the ball.
Yeah, so that's what I saw too. I was like, man, they're good, but yeah.
The Falcons ran all over this Carolina team, and the Saints are pretty effective on the ground too. I think it's a big Ken Walker week.
Ken Dog. All right, cool. I'm all in on the Hawks. Chips are in. Hawks, baby.
Hawks, baby.
Hawks here.
You're either Hawks or you're not. Jordo?
Yeah, I got Seahawks.
All right, we got next, Phill.
All right, the next game here. Actually, let's move it on here. So we have the 2-0 Cowboys. Give us a little fire up yell there, Trent. We have the 2-0 Cowboys. Did the finger guns there at the 0-2 Cardinals. The current line total right now is 43.5. Dallas is currently favored by 12. Seth has a start and a sit in this game. Let's go, Seth. Hit us with it.
What are you gonna go with first, Seth?
I'll go with my sit first. So my sit of the week is James Conner. I think James Conner came off a pretty big week last week. Let me look at his numbers. James Conner last week had 16 points. He had 23 attempts for 100 yards and a touchdown. And this is half-point PPR. He had 1 target in the pass game. So on the ground, he was great last week against the Giants. The Cowboys defense is the real deal. I think we all know that. They've shown it. I think maybe they're a little more susceptible through the pass than they are on the run. But I don't think this is a very good game for the Cardinals. But this kind of leads on, at least on the ground, and even in the pass game, I think so too. But this kind of leads me into my start of Zach Ertz. So Zach Ertz, we were kind of thinking at the beginning of the year like he'd be lower because he just came off an ACL injury. But what's funny about that is McBride is not really playing. He's not getting targeted. Dobbs right now has been throwing to Ertz 33% of the time, a 33% target share, which is up there with like the elite tight ends that we're seeing. And so I'm not saying he's going to get a touchdown, but when you want a tight end, you want a guy who's going to get like 5+ catches and like around 50 yards or more. Like that is a good tight end week, for your typical non-top 3 tight end. So I think Zach Ertz can finish top 5 in tight end this week. He might even catch a touchdown pass, but I think the line we could probably see is around like 6 catches for 50+ yards for Zach Ertz. So that's my start of the week.
I was shocked that McBride hasn't played more, but
Yeah.
okay. I think it's gutsy, Seth, but I'm
It's
hearing
my
what you're
gutsy
saying.
start, but I'm going with it.
Yeah. You should have just one gut play every week. But you
Yeah.
want to go to your start, Seth?
He just did both, Trent.
Oh, he did both?
I was not even away, and I heard that.
What?
I wanted to do this thing right here. And
It's 10-11, guys. It's
Trent,
10-11.
I said James Conner was my sit and Zach Ertz was my start, and you just said that's gutsy.
sorry, I was only sorry. Seriously, I've really had a long day, guys, but I can explain later. But okay.
Fire them both, Trent. You started this pod. Fire them.
Yeah, it's like I have this
fire 'em.
cat on a unicorn dancing on the screen that I've just been ready to tee up this whole time.
I know,
wanted
but
Jordan I wanted Jordan to be here to see it, and he
my
left.
Start of Zach Ertz. I literally said that.
I had to remove Jordan from the stage. I have the unicorn keyed up for you. You know, all this good stuff. I'm sorry, it's a bad excuse, but
It's
And
that
then
cinnamon
he's
from
a
that
33%
PSL clouding
hey,
your
that
mind.
PSL is not hitting me.
Hey,
in time.
Trent,
Yeah.
excuses are only for those people who need them.
I need
I
one.
thought
right
you were
now.
going to say something else there for a second.
Yeah,
It's
something
a
we have to
family
edit
show.
out the pod again. All
Yeah.
right, I'm going Dallas.
Got to get the
wins this
bleep.
game.
Got to get the bleep button ready for that guy.
I
I'm also a Dallas
still
guy.
think I think Ferguson has a blow up game soon. He's getting better every week, so hold on to him.
Are we
I
all
am
Dallas?
Yes, we're all
Yeah.
Dallas.
Cowboys.
All righty. The moving on to the next game here, we have the Bears, the 0-2 Bears versus the 1-1 Chiefs. Current total right now is 47.5. Kansas City is favored by the highest number on this slate, 12.5. And we have a sit here. Trent, you have a sit. There you go. You have the nastiness sit there. Give it to us.
Yeah, I have both Bears running backs. I just think this looks like a mess. And the stuff coming out of Chicago today seems like a total mess. Have you guys seen all that stuff where Field said coaching and then he came back and clarified it? Their defensive coordinator, there's a lot of weird stories going around about that guy resigning for his health. And then there's other reasons too. It just seems like a dumpster fire over there. I'm staying away from Herbert and Roschon. You know, everybody said that was a good spot for Roschon last week. It wasn't. I think maybe Fields finally has a game here where he's just running around, makes some crazy plays happen. This is the first time in 50 years that the quarterback with the highest win percentage in the league plays the quarterback with the lowest win percentage in the league. And I think this game is to be ugly. I do not think the Bears are going to be running the ball. And just
they said they may expect that backup QB to start playing soon
for the Bears. Yeah.
Wait,
so
what?
Justin Fields,
Tyson how is it pronounced? Jordan Tyson Bagnet.
Who said that?
I was reading an article today that he wasn't terrible. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be reporting on false news here.
I know there was a report about Roschon Johnson. Dan Graziano reported today that Roschon Johnson will be the Bears' #1 running back before long. So I don't.
I was.
You're saying they're going to bench Fields? Is that what?
On how they were seeing, analysts were saying that they wouldn't be shocked if they start seeing this guy showing up a little bit more.
So here's Justin Fields through 27 career starts.
After you say something,
here's Justin Fields through 27 career starts. Here's Mitch Trubisky through 27 career starts. Mitch Trubisky is a former MVP, but Mitch Trubisky was 63% completion percentage. Justin Fields 59%. Mitch threw 5,644 passing yards. Fields is at 4,539. Fields has 37 combined TDs. Mitch had 36 combined. Passer rating, Fields is a 78. Mitchell Trubisky's a 26. Turnovers, Fields has had 32. Mitchell Trubisky's had 26. So the only stat that Fields has done better is he has one more combined touchdown than Mitchell Trubisky.
Interesting.
That was a lot of words you said, Trent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But the point of the matter is Mitchell Trubisky's basically has the same stats as Justin Fields, but Mitchell Trubisky had a lot more wins.
The point is that Justin Fields sucks. Is what you're really trying to say?
Maybe so. Yeah. He has not been what I thought he'd turn the corner, and he's not. And I don't know if it's a coaching thing or what it is. His offensive line is not great according to PFF, but still he should be doing better. It's not looking good. I am going to say Chiefs win this game. Kelsey, I think, is in a big game. You could maybe start Sky.
Speaking of Kelsey, you want to hear the best Kelsey news of the day?
Travis
Kelce and Taylor Swift have hung out twice and have been texting this past week. Kelsey reportedly told Taylor he would love to continue seeing her. Per the report, she and Travis have hung out twice and nothing serious. She thinks he is very charming. They've been texting this last week. He is embarrassed at how much attention they are getting, but has told her he would love to continue seeing her. There's your Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift report. Chiefs rolled, Chiefs explosion spot. Chiefs look great this week, but you can only play Mahomes and Kelsey. I'm not touching any of those other yahoos they have.
All right.
Sky Moore had a good game.
That's the type of news Jordan is looking out for on Twitter.
Yeah.
Honestly, it popped up on my feed when I was looking for Roshan Johnson stuff.
That's perfect timing. No, I don't mind it. All right, Chiefs. What do we got next, Phil?
Yeah, so we have the Sunday night football game. Like, why is this a Sunday night football game, guys? Like, why?
It's
terrible. What were the matchmatchers thinking when they put this game together to make it a Sunday night football game? And after week one, still, why did they throw this one in the Sunday night football? Let's all just kind of like get a little bit upset about it for a little bit.
No, two huge fan bases. Okay, two huge fan bases. An old rivalry. It makes sense. But it is kind of dumb that the Steelers are on back-to-back weeks on primetime games. I don't think it's terrible. I do have
one of the lowest totals. It's like one of the lowest totals yet. So the current total is 43. Vegas is currently favored by 2.5. Trent has a sit in this game. Seth has a start in this game. Jordan has a start in this game. Since Trent has the only sit, I am going to let him go first.
Najee Harris. I just don't know what we're going to get with this guy. It looks like Jaylen Warren's getting better, Jordan, kind of like what we were saying. I know during the offseason, I was pretty high on Najee. I was excited for him. Once we got closer to the draft, I wasn't as excited for him. I'm like totally off the bandwagon now. Like, I don't even want to admit I was high on him during the offseason. It's just, I don't know if he's too slow or what it is, or he just doesn't fit in that offense, but I am like, don't want to touch Najee Harris at all. And unfortunately, you probably got him in a round where you're stuck with him, but hopefully you went out and maybe got Jerome Ford if you have him, right? Like something like that, blew all your fab on him. But I am not excited to play Najee really in any of these matchups. And Raiders probably are a decent matchup for a running back, but I think Warren I think the Steelers have to start playing good as an offense, and I think Warren just gives him a lot more versatility.
Let me just take it from here, Trent, because Jaylen Warren is my start of the week. So I think he's a pretty good matchup for the Steelers. Like you said, like it's a solid matchup. Warren's played 40% and 43% snaps the last 2 weeks. And in my opinion, like you just said, he looks way better than Najee. He looks way more explosive. He's ripping off long, yards after the catch on a reception, ripping off some decent runs here. Against a pretty solid, like Cleveland run defense, like we said, like it's a good Cleveland defense last week. He had 6 targets, 6 carries last game. And like you just said, Trent, at some point, the Steelers are just going to have to play Warren more. They're going to have to realize what everyone else is realizing, that he is a much better running back than Najee Harris. It's just the truth. So I think we get a pretty solid Jaylen Warren game this week against the Raiders. I think I'm going to start him in a league. So he's my start of the week. I think he's like a top 20 running back this week.
Yeah, I'm willing to start him also. Seth, what do you got here? You got to start?
Yeah, so my start is Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had a abysmal week last week. I don't even know if we want to talk about it. I think did he have negative points, or he had negative yards or something like that crazy.
He has to
But if
bounce
you look,
back eventually.
yeah, he's gonna have a bounce back game this week, and even if it's not anything crazy, it's gonna be a good enough week. Something that you are gonna be more happy about than his first 2 games. The 49ers week 1, 162 yards and a touchdown. Of course, that's with the Niners elite run offense and McCaffrey in the backfield. And then the Browns last week, 28 attempts, one and a touchdown. So the amount of rush yards that these guys have given up, it might be the most in the league. So I think this is good enough for Josh Jacobs to at least get 80 yards. Like he has to at least get 80 yards and possibly a touchdown. I think that's what we can expect out of him. He's my start of the week. I think people were feeling bad about having him on their team last week. You're going to feel good about having him in this game. So start him right up. Don't be scared. Don't bench him.
Can we play George Pickens in this game, Jordan?
I love George Pickens in this game. I think it's a big George Pickens game. I'm excited for this little showdown slate for this game. I think it'll be an interesting little slate, so I'm excited for it.
All right.
All righty.
I'm going to say Raiders.
Trent.
I say Raiders win.
I got Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go
Is
Steelers.
I'm
it's
going
in
Raiders.
Vegas. Raiders. There's only one nation, Raider Nation. What we got next, Phil? Got a little doubleheader action.
We got some doubleheader action. The last of our doubleheaders, I think, for a little while at least. We have 2 games here. We'll start with the first one. We have the 2-0 Eagles versus the 2-0 Buccaneers. The current total right now is 46. Philly is currently favored by 5 away. No starts, no sits in this game. What are we playing here? Obviously, starting your studs. Anything sneaky? Anything?
Swift for sure. If Gainwell's out, if Gainwell's in, maybe you can touch on that a little bit, Seth. It's hard for me to even. It's just hard because you don't know. I think you can just plan on playing Swift either way. I think after
you have to.
He looked. Yeah,
I think you have to. I think you have him. You drafted him like the week you wanted. You got last week. Gainwell's back. Now you see really where the Eagles offense is like actually going to operate with both of them. So I'm hoping it's not just a Gainwell week, and I'm hoping it's not just a Swift week. It'd be nice to see if we see both of them and serviceable. But I mean, the Eagles pass game is good too. So there's so many weapons on this team. It really could. Both running backs could both have bad days too. Who knows?
Yeah.
If both, go ahead, Trent.
I don't think Swift is going to get that volume like he did last week, but I think he can have a good game. Like, what do you have? 29 carries last week?
Yeah. I mean, if he even gets 15 touches, I think we're happy about that.
Yeah.
I just think you're staying away, like in the prop market, right? Like you can't make any decisions now on that type of stuff until you know for sure like who's in, who's out. So, I don't really have. Obviously, you're just playing your guys. Start your studs. We talked about it. I think this is the Baker. Like, I think we get a bad Baker week this week. So
this
game's in Tampa. For some reason, I thought it was in Philly. It's in Tampa though. This game.
It is in Tampa. It'd be probably because of how much they're favorite. It is in Tampa.
Yeah, I think we finally get like a bad Baker week. I do prefer Evans to Godwin, but I think this is the Baker looked solid the last 2 weeks. But I mean, he's played the Vikings and he's played the Bears, right? Like this is 2 bad defenses. I think we just get a Baker struggle game this week.
Yeah, I think Evans could have a good game, but yeah, like maybe he looks really good so far, but like you said, it's bad. It's been very favorable matchups towards Tampa Bay. But I think
with the exception
where you drafted Evans, I think you can play him absolutely. Like you probably got him in the 6th round or whatever. Like the draft capital on Evans is wonderful. Like you might even have somebody better if you don't want to play him, but I think you can play him.
Say what you will, though, they still beat the Bears by 10. I mean, that is they're still scoring. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I want to say one quick thing, real quick. I think this game has a possibility of hitting the over. Like I don't think Jordan's wrong. I think this is where we see Baker maybe kind of not fall apart, but maybe come back to earth a little bit more. But there's a potential that like Baker actually does play good, and the Eagles do give up like a decent amount of passing game. I think this game could be more high scoring than we think, and it's closer to a shootout than what we might imagine. An interesting thing is I think AJ Brown we saw how frustrated he was last week about not getting the ball. I think maybe they force feed AJ Brown a little bit this game.
Oh, you're right.
I
You're right.
agree with
I
that.
think AJ Brown's getting a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to make him feel better about life.
For sure. And I think he wants to feel like he's being a part of the team, and I think they're going to make that happen this week.
Still friends. He still wants to be friends with Jalen Hurts.
Devonta's looks so good. I'm going to go Eagles win this one. Anyone
I'm
going to
gonna
go
Eagles.
Bucks? Anyone going to fire the
I got
cannons?
Eagles.
No, Eagles.
All right, last game, Phil.
All right, the last game is Rams versus Bengals. Rams are 1-1. Bengals are 0-2. The current total right now is 43.5. Cincy is currently favored by 2.5 at home, even though they are 0-2. What are we talking about here? What's of interest? Hopefully, Hopefully, Joe Burrow can get it dialed in and fired up here.
Yeah, I think that's the. Yeah, go ahead, Trent. Sorry.
No, just some notes on Burrow. Like they say, some stuff I've been reading is he's not as mobile for sure. They think that's hurting him, and they say he's not stepping into throws like he does in the past. I still think Jamar Chase can have a really good game. Like Higgins had a good game last week, but that's just been what they're seeing on tape of Joe Burrow. He's not making those crazy plays, extending them like he has in the past. But what were you saying, Jordan?
No, obviously the Burrow thing is interesting. The line was at 6.5 at the start of the week, and then it drastically moved to 2, like a few days. I think like Tuesday morning, maybe Tuesday morning. So It makes me think that they kind of think Burrow is actually on the actually questionable side of questionable. So, I think
Did you see him after the game? He was like limping.
Yeah, no. So Chase, I think you're playing Chase no matter what. Jake Browning, it doesn't really matter. Like, my question is, what do you do with Joe Burrow? Like, are you waiting as long as possible? Are you waiting until Sunday morning to make that decision? Maybe it depends on if Stafford's available in your league. Maybe it depends if Baker's available in your league, or like Kenny Pickett, or like
Kenny Pickett would be interesting.
Like, I tend to want to just wait as long as I possibly can. I have Joe Burrow in a league where I have no backup quarterback on the roster. So I have to make this decision, and I'm just kind of, part of me is almost like, or do I just say, okay, it's Jake Browning or bust? Like, I'm just going to put him on the Joe Burrow on the IR and pick up Jake Browning on Monday if he gets ruled out. Like, I don't know. I got to look at who's on my waiver wire and look at my options, and because it's tough.
Thankfully, I have Matt Stafford, so.
Like, the IR spot is tough because if I have no one else ruled out, I don't really want to. You know what I'm saying, Trent? Like, I'd rather.
You can't
wait.
You can't put him in the IR right now.
Yeah, and that's the tough part, and it's a Monday night game, so I think there's some actually decisions that have to be made with Joe Burrow. So I think it's a wait and see approach. I'm playing him if he's good to go. Mixon's okay. I don't really love it here.
If you want to be diabolical, you're playing Kyron. No, if you want to be diabolical,
Kyron and
you're
Puka,
playing,
yeah.
If you want to do something diabolical, if you're playing against the guy with Joe Burrow, just pick up Browning.
Stat.
If you have an IR spot, steal his. I don't know. Like,
well, I would say Stafford is the better one, because if Stafford's available, because that's who.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, if Burrow's not available, I'm playing Stafford. Type of thing. I'm going to put him on the IR spot. I'm going to Stafford.
Yeah, most likely you can't. I'm going to say Rams win.
I'm going to go Cincy.
Where's the game at?
Cincinnati.
I'm going to go Bengals then.
I'm going Bengals. Figured out finally.
All right. Let's get
we need scores. Trent, we need a total. We need a total from the week.
I am going to go.
Go ahead.
I'll go 39.
Oh, wow, under. Okay. Phil?
What's the total?
I'm going to go 43.
43.5, Seth.
Let's Let's do 45.
I'm gonna go 48.
Okay.
All righty.
All
All
right.
right.
Jordan, you got an underdog draft. You want to make one of those real quick?
It's already in your text, Trent. I'm
Alrighty,
ahead of
perfect.
schedule today.
There we go.
Alrighty.
The time is not a bother to me.
Well, I'm glad. Alrighty, I am in the first. I have the number 1 pick here. The draft is starting soon.
I think I have the number 1.
Actually,
pick,
Phill
right?
does.
Phill has
It's okay,
number one.
Trent.
does he?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Phill R's number 1 there.
Philip.
All right. Yeah, I guess not reading is contagious because Phill has, spread that towards me. Okay, Phill, you have 40 seconds. Be thinking about who you're going to take here with this pick, guys. If you want to do something like this, go over to Underdog, promo code dudes. They'll match you up to $100. We have a lot of fun doing this. Seth, you won last week, correct?
Yeah, I won last week.
Who won week 1?
I won week 1.
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah,
say it'd be
Trent
interesting to see if but
Because
that was
Trent
a one
had,
single game.
Trent had Tyreek week 1.
You killed me with Debo.
Hey, what's funny
last
here
week.
is I can't draft. I have 16 seconds, and it says queue or draft, but I'm not able
because
to
it doesn't
draft.
Draft
started
starts
yet,
in
Phil.
because
10
the
seconds.
draft
Oh,
hasn't started yet.
sorry. I thought my pick was on the clock. That's what I'm thinking.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm struggling.
Theme of the
It's
pod.
10:32.
He was pressing
I'm like, what is going
Jefferson
on?
so hard. He's like,
Now you can pick.
Yeah.
All right, go, Phill. I got my pick queued up.
oh,
Tyreek
Wow.
Hill. I
no
am
way.
surprised
Trent,
right there.
Trent's in shambles now. He doesn't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I'm going to go Justin Jefferson.
Okay. So I'm very interested in either Kelsey or Pollard here, but I think Kelsey's going to have an insane week.
We didn't talk about Pollard, but he's getting so many touches within the 5, within the 10. It's eventually he's going to have a blow up game.
Jordan's going to go Pollard.
I'm going to go
right now.
Bijan. No. I'm going to go. It's not a bad idea, Seth. I'm going to go Keenan Allen.
Ooh, nice.
Man, I was going to go Keenan Allen. That's a bummer.
All right, what are you doing here, Seth?
Well, I'm going to go Tony Pollard. I think that's safe. I think he's going to get a touchdown.
I'm up here. Man, I don't like this spot. I'm going to go with Diggs.
All right.
Lamb concerns me because I just wonder if they're just going to run the ball.
Yeah.
So Phil's up. Phil has 15
up.
seconds.
CD does not have a touchdown yet.
He's got to get one soon, right?
Phil
Phil took
Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
And
Interesting.
And Mahomes.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley.
Man, I was going to go Ridley there. Bummer. I'm going to go St. Brown.
I hope he plays, Seth.
I hope so too. If not, I'm messed up.
I'm going to go Hawkinson here.
That's sneaky right there, Jordan.
Jordan, I was actually
going to. I might be reaching, but I don't know if you guys can let him get back to me. I'm going Justin Herbert. I'm full stacking this game in this draft right here.
Interesting.
I just didn't know if he'd get back to me.
I think Jordan was thinking that Mike Williams might get back to him, but he's going to be gone right now.
No, I'm fine. I don't want to do double stack in this format.
Here, I'm going to go with the Mark Andrews blow-up game has to happen soon. I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
You have Diggs, right, Trent? So it makes
I have
sense.
Diggs. Yeah, I was tempted to go Diggs or Lawrence or Allen was what I was thinking right there to stack those two. Phill went with DK Metcalf. Phil's just going all Hawks right here.
Hot crazy.
I can't take any more running backs. Oh man, I'm all messed up on my phone here. Do I have to take a tight end here, Jordan?
You have to get tight end. Yeah, you gotta have a tight end.
Take Andrews in.
Okay, I like the Nico Collins play here.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go Chris Olave. And so how many spots we get?
You
get
should
six
be
rosters,
limited.
six.
It should tell you what you need.
I just have a flex, so I can go anywhere I
Yeah.
want here.
Except quarterback.
Man,
yeah.
I think just like the CD thing is too good right here, Trent.
yeah, it's too much value.
Yeah, it's just too much value right there.
It's
Okay,
pretty
I need a
crazy.
quarterback, and I don't know who I want. Man, who do I have? I'm gonna go Lamar, best available quarterback.
All right. I am going with Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, Phil. Phil is
I went with Mostert.
I'm projected to win. Seth and
Are you really?
Seth is projected to take second. Jordan is third by a smidge. Phil in last. Looking at the whole draft, do you want to give a quick rundown of everybody's team, Jordan?
I gotta find it because I
I
love my draft. That's funny that I'm projected last because I love it. Let's see. So Phil's projected last. He has Mahomes, Kenneth Walker, Raheem Mostert, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Sam Laporta. I'm projected third with Herbert, Bijan, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, CeeDee Lamb, Hawkinson. Seth has Lamar Jackson, Tony Pollard, Amon-Ra. Hopefully he plays. Mike Williams, Nico Collins, Travis Kelce, and Trent has Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, JJ, Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, Mark Andrews. I get why Trent's projected first. Now, cool thing on this Underdog, if you do draft a guy who doesn't play, they give you like I don't know how exactly they fill it in, but they do give you a fill-in guy, Seth. For some reason,
So
if
would it
St.
be
Brown
maybe
were
it's
to
the
not
next
play,
best of it? Maybe it's the next best
it might
available.
be next best available. Yeah.
And then they would just sub him in for him and just say
a
whatever
company of
points he got.
integrity.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
nice.
Company of integrity.
I'm
All
pretty-
right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you on Monday with our week 3 recap. And as always, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.